As for our game, it has been, what, like half a week? It's like a million years in Factorio time. You need to get back. Also, watching Bentham's setup on Gleba has given me a couple of ideas. Now, again, the whole virus meme out of the way, it does genuinely, like, Bentham scaled up production much faster than I did, way faster, and that has come with consequences. But I'm also wondering if there's another way, and I think there might be. The whole thing of showing up and just like converting all of the biologic process and just full steam ahead, ramping up, constantly producing more. It occurred to me that along with wanting to add trains for the farms, that much like mining regular resources, the pollution is generated when the resources are extracted, not when they're growing. Now, with iron and copper on Novus, you never really want to stop extracting it. But there are periods of time when the factory goes quiet, when you allow things to back up so much that the mines stop working because there's literally nowhere to put the resources. They go quiet and the pollution reduces. Now, we definitely have seen that occur to a degree on Gleba. The spore clouds have receded given enough time. The individual tiles do have pollution absorbing abilities. It's just very small. The passive absorption rate of the tile is low. It's usually going to come down to a nest eating it all. Magabox says, I'm actually very unhappy with this build. The constant stomper trench warfare forced me to build everything on top of everything else instead of building a small factory that gives me the resources for a large one. Yeah, you to be fair to Bentham, again, as much as I was memeing, it was genuinely trench warfare. Like, watching Bentham fight that fight, and this was before there was any kind of real remote building ability on Gleba. This was before any kind of vehicle was there that you could remote drive to pitch in. So he was just there, and you were just kind of forced to watch the war, and it was dire. There were times when, well, you saw me against one stomper just have a death spiral of like 2 or 3 deaths in a row. Now imagine that against a much bigger nest with medium stompers. During the Battle of the Glom, as it has been since named, Bentham would die like 7 or 8 times in a row just to get his stuff back, not making any actual progress, just to re-equip. It was brutal, and to his credit, he stuck it out. There were times when looking at that, oh my god, and Bentham, during that fight, that was up to the north, and then a stomper raid came in from an unexpected angle and straight to the power infrastructure and literally just walked through the middle of the undefended base, destroyed everything. We were, it was like late at night for us. We were just there, just kind of idling and chit-chatting, and like the only thing Beth said was like, hours of work. No, what was it? Days of work. Like, we were just watching, we were like, Jesus, oh my god. And then when he was over, finally he'd popped down a couple of turrets to help in the middle of the base, and finally the stomper died. All he could say was, days of work gone. We're not joking now. It was complete reset, almost 2-0. In some ways into negative, because the stomper destroyed the landing pad. Everything was gone. It was brutal. But anyway, it occurred to me that whilst, and this might actually be applicable to Novus as well, if I'm perfectly honest, but look at all of these different farm spots dotted around the world. The spores from one farm that's forced to shoulder the entire burden accumulate. But what if instead of doing this, I had discrete farms dotted around with some distance between them? Not so that I could simply scale up production to meet the available resources that all of those farms could produce, but rather so I could share the load of production. In the same way that currently my computer is liquid cooled, could easily handle What I put it through, because the graphics card in my current rig is not in the water cooling loop. It's air cooled, but just the CPU easily, absolutely no real stress on it. 2 fans would be enough. I've got the equivalent of 6 fans cooling the CPU, but that means that the fans can run very, very slowly. So the computer is generally silent, even at times of extreme computational work. They never really whir up like jet engines like some of my other builds have done, because there's just so much extra cooling capacity there. So what we could do is apply that same logic. A farm over here, a farm there. The train will go to whichever one was visited the longest ago, which is easy to set up with a little clock priority system. It picks it, and when it arrives, that's the only time that the farm will collect. It collects a little bit, the train gets enough, and it leaves. And then that farm goes through a replanting cycle and just sits there for a long time. Doesn't need to do anything else. And if you have like 3, 4, 5 different farms, still only trying to use the equivalent output of a single farm, then for all intents and purposes, you're going to have tiny little pollution clouds that will little puff of spores during a harvest cycle, and then ample time for the spores to be passively absorbed by the surrounding terrain. You probably still would need a little bit of defenses. You're never really going to be able to get away from that, I don't think, unless you're particularly aggressive with moving out and killing off the bases, but then, kind of stands aside the purpose. But, coming back to the whole funny, Jojo Mart versus community center, that would be the community center version of Gleba, in my opinion, where you use enough. You don't use everything you could just because you can. You use what you need, and you try to spread the burden of meeting those needs across a much larger surface area, thereby avoiding any one place becoming particularly agitated. As long as the transit from the farm to the factory won't spoil all the ingredients. Well, that's the thing, is that the actual fruit itself... The fruit itself has like an hour spoil time. Now, granted, that spoilage will pass down the entire chain. Actually, is it an hour or is it like 20 minutes? Let me just double check. I could be wrong about that. No, it's an hour spoil time on that. Now, assuming that you're not spending more than 20 minutes per train ride, that still gives you a decent amount. You're still going to be bringing back a decent bit. You can't put any kind of modules in this, so you can't increase it, but with quality modules, you could increase the quality of its output, which would add a little bit of extra spoilage time to it. Doesn't upcycling the fruit bring its spoil time up? Well, basically, if you use something at 50% freshness, the output will be 50% freshness. And so those losses, that's why I said like 20 minutes out of an hour, so you're sacrificing 1/5 of its freshness. I would say that's probably as far as you really want to go with it. But you pass it down the line, so everything it produces are now only got 80% freshness. But if you use quality modules, because a higher quality product typically has a longer spoil time, you're effectively adding time back on here and there. That's something for much further down the line, though. But to give you an idea, there doesn't seem to be a way to get higher quality fruit, unfortunately. But if you could get it all the way to legendary, you'd have 2 hours and 30 minutes. I'm not sure how you'd even do that, though. I really don't know. Since you can't put the modules in the farms, and someone on the in the Dappling in the Factorio Discord thread said that they had experimented with quality seeds, and that did not result in quality fruit. Now, that would have been my assumption of how you get quality fruit. Oh, is it possible that the... Oh... Is it a function of the quality farm? Would a quality farm produce quality fruit? It doesn't say anything about that in here, but that might actually be good. Recycling. Huh. I've not really played around enough with recycling. I have like set up a little recycling doohickey on the Dappling server with some recyclers that were sent to Nauvis. But I've not really deep dived into it because I've not gone to Falgora, and I'm trying to avoid doing stuff that I haven't done on stream. But maybe you're right. It will break down what something is made of into its lower states. Could you recycle Yumiko mash into Yumiko fruit? But that would be very broken though, because you get multiple items out of that. Surely, and it just occurs to me now that you get more items out of copper cable than you put in. You put one copper plate in, you get two copper cable. Does recycling... Well, no, it would only give you 25% rounded down. So... I'm going to say that that would never be able to give you back a whole fruit. Yeah, no, I don't think that would ever work, no. No, that wouldn't work. That wouldn't work. Now, recycling bioflux might... But I just don't know if that's a function that you could use it on. No, oh, actually, no, Manga Pork says recycling one copper cable gives you 1/8 chance of a copper plate. So I guess you could recycle the mash. Huh. Maybe. This is still assuming you can even recycle organics. But the only thing it says it destroys is liquids. And Looping Fool says, recycling bioflux does not work. I have tried. That is a shame. Manga Pork says, I think anything biological only recycles into itself. Yeah. That would make sense, because this would be so broken otherwise. That would be so broken. But anyway, I'm not sure how you get high quality fruits. It doesn't appear to be from high quality seeds. I didn't even realize seeds could have a quality, frankly. But apparently they do. And someone in Discord said that that does not result in high quality trees. Which is a shame, because that would have been the obvious thing to me. We might explore it a little bit. We will explore it a little bit more. But anyway, yeah, so back to what I was saying. The plan then would be to set up a rail network with farms spread far enough apart that their pollution would not meet. Because once it meets, then that tile has got twice as much pollution to consume. So it's going to be a losing battle. But if you can have them far enough away from one another, that you've just got discrete localized spore puffs when you harvest, and then it goes dormant for a while, then that could be a way of having a factory which has got a decent production of materials whilst producing a very slight amount of pollution. Or spores. And by the same token, I guess there is no reason why that wouldn't work on Nauvis. There's no reason why you wouldn't be able to do exactly the same thing, like having a couple of discrete iron mines just dotted around and only visiting them every now and then, and otherwise they remain dormant. But on the topic of getting things, freshness-wise, As long as the train ride isn't 20 minutes long, I don't think we've got a problem. And these trees harvest so fast, so shockingly quickly, that I also don't think that's a problem. So we do need defenses around the farms. That is a given. But there's many options to go with here. Now, what did we have for Gleba's checklist? Expand smelting stacks. Yeah, that's a must. Build basic infrastructure more. Maybe redesign nutrient feed line. That is less of a maybe now. I really do feel that we need that. But adding trains for farm pickup is a high priority. I'm going to add something else. And that is that I would very much like to, once I've got massive production of landfill, move the regular part of the factory, this stuff, maybe not the smelting stacks, but the actual production down to the lowlands. Have the farm processing high up, that can be its own thing, and then have the factory down here. So the biological factory in one distinct area, the more traditional factory in another. We have not started research on Gleba yet, and the reason why we haven't started it, Dr. Moriarty, is I need to build a rocket. Unless I can produce a rocket fast enough, there's no point. Absolutely 0 point, because I can't get the science into space. I could bring the science here. There is that option. I resist it, though, because it feels very... I just feel like well, I'm not even going to say that the intended route, because I'm not even sure that is such a thing with Factorio. You play it as you play. There will be lots of people who will say you're playing it wrong. But much with many games, there are lots of solutions to every problem. And so find the one that you like. If you want to transport your science to Gleba and do the science here, so you can basically step around the issue of science spoilage, you can do that. But for me, I think there's more fun in going to a planet and then finding a way to get back off again. And that being a necessary route to progression. But I guess I could, for a small scale, bring some stuff over here. In terms of Gleba, then, we've got no mill science. Let me find... This is the one that we need right now, then. Carbon fiber into rockets. Once I have rockets, I have coal synthesis, and once I've got that, I can build explosives on Gleba, which means both tanks and rocket turrets. Because, functionally speaking, I can produce everything I need here. Like, I can make blue, green, red, and if I create a new space station, white science. Or I can just park Prydwen in orbit, retool part of it in order to make science, and then have that sustain Gleba for a little bit, just until I get to the rocket side up. But that's 1,500 science. It is a long way. Okay, Paco Bing says, a legendary agricultural tower doesn't appear to result in legendary fruit, at least not from surface level testing in the scenario editor. Okay, that's a shame. That was a shame. Because they've got quality levels for the fruit. Why? Now, it could just be an oversight. As Bentham has very amusingly pointed out to us, there have been issues. Not pointing any fingers, but, that negative speed due to legendary spoilage. Glorious. So it's not outside the realm of possibility. That's simply an unintended bug. but... Or rather, just an unintended feature. They didn't take it out because it didn't impact anything. I think I've even noticed quality levels for the biters. So there's every possibility that's not something we're going to be doing. We'll see, though. We will see. Right, anyway. Train time. I am really tempted to redesign this, but let's just get a system together that works, and a redesign can happen later. So for now, move all of this. I can put together Roboports to help out a little bit. Definitely help out in repairing and such, and keeping my turrets supplied. Roboports would require red circuits. Well, let's get Roboports up and running. Might as well. So we've already got red circuits over here. And that, in addition to steel and iron gears, is all I would need for Roboports. There's no reason not to do this. Have I got... Am I making assembly factories here already? No, I've got the electric engines. I've got regular engines too. I could actually put together a tank right now, but again, very little point. Other than the tank is not going to care about the trees. You know what? That is good enough of a reason. We need tank Chan the second. So I just need 32 engine units. I'll do. And we'll drop off the rest. Because we've already got rocket fuel, so the tank's going to have plenty of fuel. And I can give it... I'll just have to... The only available weapon will be its machine gun, but that's okay. Right, so I want this, which is going to require some iron plates. Because right now, we're using a very, very light production Gleba factory. If I want to use rockets to send science, I'm going to need a lot more production. And that's just a reality. And in order to scale that up, I'm probably going to need more coming in from the farms, or more frequently, which is going to cause more spores, which is going to cause more problems. So in the meanwhile, I'm thinking, yeah, let's get the ability for us to draw from multiple farms using a train, and that will actually put us in a pretty solid position, I think. All right, where are you? Still making it. They also have quality levels for the engineer, says Mango Pork, really. I can't see myself. This makes me sad. I wish to witness my glorious quality. God damn it. How do I look myself up? Where am I in the Factoriopedia? I do not appear to be under enemies. I am fairly certain that Gleba and Novus would disagree. Wait. No. They also put quality on every enemy, and a dev was surprised and apparently opened the game to test it for himself. When I mentioned it was possible to create a legendary biter outbreak on Novus, apparently it might not have been intended. It just happens to work. Which truly I think is marvelous. Oh, Aavak is listed under Dapper, of course. You know what? Let's not plumb the depths. I don't want to... The typical engineer might be high quality. I don't want to know what my quality is, okay? I'm happy not knowing. I'm happy not knowing what my quality is, because what if my quality is low? I'll never recover from that. I tried planting quality seeds, but alas, no quality fruit. Yeah, I'm strongly suspecting that is not going to be something that works for us. Deep sadness, but there we are. You built a rocket from a box of scraps, probably rare to legend. That's right, yeah, another login. I like that. We'll go with that. I don't need to check my quality. The quality of my deeds speaks for itself. I basically crash landed and MacGyvered myself a new spaceship and then crash landed somewhere else. Okay, maybe, okay. Thinking about that, I'm downgrading the quality a little bit again. I'm a very high quality engineer, very low quality pilot. I am a tabletop RPG character, okay? I clearly put all of my points into dexterity and crafting. Piloting was my dump stat. We all have one, all right? Yeah, never trust me as a pilot in Stars Without... Oh, no. You never trust Bentham as a pilot in Stars Without Number. Oh, my God. Bentham, do you remember how many times you rolled a glitch on those... The thing was, you were actually a decent pilot, stat-wise, in that game. And how... Like, we were lost. we were lost for, like, a week or two in metadimensional space. Rough times, Bentham. Oh, it was quite a few, Leafin. There were food issues. My character was considering cutting his arm off and feeding it to the pilot at the time because my character was quite a high-level biocide. Could just grow it back eventually, but in the immediate, we kind of needed food to keep not dying. I remember spreadsheeting out exactly how much oxygen we had left, and it was down to us being in suits with at least one character in suspended animation. If it wasn't for that tent that I had, because we didn't think that had oxygen. Do you remember that, Bentham? And then it was like, well, actually, I hate to be that guy. Well, actually, it does say when you buy this, it comes with one canister of air. So the only place on the ship that could sustain us was a tent, because the ship had run out of oxygen, and all was left was the little canister of air that came with my survival tent. Oh man, that was good. That was amazing. Right. Anyway, what was I going to do? Yes, that's right. I was going to set this up. Now, all I'm going to need is to bring across some steel from up here. Oh, actually, no, I've got steel over there. Perfect. There are gears going down here, gears coming up here, gears going every which way. Where are my legs? Where are my legs, Devs? Devs? Where are my legs? What did you do with my legs, Devs? I'm assuming that I'm mantling and there's simply not an animation for it. It makes my life feel less worrisome. Let's pop you down there. And now I simply need to bring gears. I could just build gears, honestly, and run it across, and I think that might actually be a decent option. Just need more plates. A few more plates. It was rough, Leafin. It was rough. We were honestly like, well, is this how the party dies? I mean, it's kind of an anticlimactic end, but I mean, it's fair. That's why these roles exist. But wow, our luck was rubbish. Right, so we're going to have these up and running very soon. We're going to want... I may as well just lay the groundwork for this. And we will offload in this direction to a little chest. You know what? Why don't I just because I'm using this area. There we are. I could use these gears. I just generally don't like to, but because for the longest time I had issues down here because I was just reusing gears that had been split off for another purpose and that everything else was stopped. So that's why I've kind of taken to creating a separate line. Now, if I had enough room for a splitter around here, another splitter to pull gears out, I would absolutely do that from the gears that are being produced here. But I think I'm just going to let these sit. I know I'm not going to use these super often, but if I'm producing a load of belts and I need a top-up of the inserters, and it's not uncommon that I do need those two in combination, I run out of them around about the same time, then all of a sudden everything stalls because so many things are trying to pull gears off this tiny little production. I'll just make a separate line of gears and this will never have to worry about it. I think that's okay. It's not ideal, I grant you, but there is a reason why I'm choosing to do this. Did you make it out? Yeah, we made it. We made it. Combination of the fact that Bentham, as it happens, didn't need to breathe. And the only person who was like completely out of it, we were able to keep him alive. Again, my bio side was quite a high level, so he was able to do quite a lot of things to keep someone alive, even in pretty hostile environments. So strictly speaking, one of the only ones that really needed to be healthy was my character in that scenario. They were the only one that had actual life support concerns. If my character was alive, then he could sustain the metabolic processes of other living characters, and Bentham, as it happened, didn't have the same life support needs. Oh my lord, it takes so long to make these. I should have just picked these up. Why didn't I do that? Oh. Okay. Well, that was very silly of me. I'm gonna grab these. I'm gonna make that. I'm going to put these back. I've now got some spare. But I'm also going to need to expand out our mining. Now, the nice thing about Gleba is like the only thing you can mine is stone. But you can mine it to your heart's content. You can go full bore on the mining here because it does not matter. Pollution doesn't matter on this planet. Spores matter, but pollution does not. I probably need to bring these in a different direction, but it's fine. Oh, am I out? Oh, Lord. Yeah, I am. Yeah, I really enjoyed Stars Without Number. It was... I love Shadowrun. Shadowrun has a special place because I'm so interested in the setting. Much the same as Cyberpunk. I like that setting particularly. But I will say that outside of that, I know there's many settings that I haven't done on Tabletop. Lots of settings I haven't played with on Tabletop. So take this for what it's worth. It's my preference based on the fact that I haven't played a lot of them. But I would say that outside of Shadowrun and Cyberpunk, which you know, basically win because of the kind of thematic setting. Mechanically, I like Stars Without Number more than any other setting. Well, that again, I like the mechanics of. Well, actually, no, I'm not going to say I like the mechanics of Shadow. I like the mechanics of a well-written, well laid out Shadowrun rulebook. But you know, finding one of those is like finding El Dorado. They exist, but difficult to locate. But when you do, amazing. I like Cyberpunk. And outside of the mechanics and the theme of those, it is Stars Without Number for me. There we go. Right, that'll start making a Roboport, and as I start putting those down, I do have enough bots that I don't need to be carrying these with me. I've obviously set up bots over on the far side, and the Pridwen delivers them every now and then, but I don't need more than that. Right, there we go. Everything is now hooked up. On the topic of the Pridwen, should I move this? I'm starting to deeply feel that I should. I absolutely could. In fact, I absolutely will. Is there a way to say, hey, build what you can, but don't try to stamp over things? Clear cursor build. Force build is shift and left click. Oh yeah, force build. That's what I needed. There we go. It's shift and control that creates the super build that'll remove other things. Right. Okay. Yeah, so say build what you can, but don't stop over things. Waterproof bubbles. Wow. Shadowrun 6 is the only time we ever quit a show a few episodes in because the rules were so horrible that we just didn't want to continue. Yep. Yeah, and that's not an uncommon story, unfortunately, Bentham. Though I imagine that was particularly rough for you, though. Oof. It's a different deal entirely when like you're quitting an actual show that you're airing. That's a bit of a, that should be a wake-up call. It isn't, but it should be. Hey, there's these people who've got not just a passing interest, but an economic incentive to keep playing this thing, and they won't. It's at that point that you know you have produced a subpar rulebook. Let's not make all of those, shall we? Right, okay. We now have Roboports on the make. Now I just need robots on the make, and we are good. I'm going to pop these liberally around. They're still in position, wow. It's a good spot. I love the fact that Roboports now also come with their own kind of built-in radar. That is amazing. I only realistically need coverage for my guns. Logistics coverage, that is. More than that is unnecessary. I'm going to stamp down a good couple. It's not going to be a particularly well laid out logistics network. That'll come for when we go to the effort of redesigning things. Just. It is literally just in range. Oh, that's glorious. It pleases me. All right, then. Let's give you... I don't need logistics drones. So you can have all of mine. You can have all of those too. You are going to need some of the support drones, though. Yep. Okay, they will now do their thing. They're already off to do their thing. Glorious. Oh, I'm going to need to stamp down a couple of supply chests. Okay. Mangoporg says, in relation to Roll For It, we literally spent all of our character gen meetings, and there had to be so many, just wading through the rules trying to understand how to play. And this was with 2 very seasoned Shadowrun GMs in the group. Certain rules were just missing, contradicting, nonsensical. It was an unmitigated disaster. Yeah. Yeah. I'm told that the German version of the rulebook is a pleasure. It doesn't surprise me. A pleasure to read. I mean, it doesn't need to be much to be a pleasure to read compared to what already existed, you understand. But, yeah, I'm told that it is actually very comfortable to read. And that's what I mean, you know. Find a version of the rulebook that is well laid out. Time to learn German. Yeah, have a German friend. Learn German. I'm fairly certain you can, in fact, find some... Now, I'm going to say this. Understand that when I say this, what I am saying is you should own a copy of the rulebook in English, and then you, in my opinion, you've bought the rulebook in English, you've paid the English price for an English rulebook, which is printed and laid out by... yeah, I think it is actually the developers of Shadowrun who handle the English language version. The German one, though, the rights to print that, different. If you want to cover all your bases, buy both, the English version and the German version. Can't read the German version? That's fine. There are places online which have transcribed the German version of the rulebook into English. At that point, you've paid your due. You've in fact had to pay an extra language tax on top to get that rulebook in an understandable format. But once you've done that, as far as I'm concerned, you've paid your fee. Now play the bloody game. Oh, Lieven says, according to 9, the 6th edition book in German is a pleasure to ignore. Really? Really? I know that the 5th edition was so much better in German. That's very interesting to hear. Yoink. 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 This has needed to happen for a long while. Okay. So, what I should really do is Gleba. Let's do a little something something. Gleba requests. These will be for non-standard things that only make sense for Gleba. Outside of that, I'm going to want... I really should tidy these up, frankly. I super need to tidy this up, actually. As it happens, though, I don't think there's anything I want right now. Huh. No, I don't think there is. I'm probably just going to be... Well, I'll keep it around just in case. This way it can help me out, but I think for the time being, as it happens, I'm good. Alright, let's get a couple more... Really, I missed that one. Oh, I did. Let me go and grab a couple more Roboports. Very clearly need more coverage. Let's drop off. Yeah, let's pop that in there. There we go. That is so much better. Coverage is jank as all get out, but it'll serve its purpose for now. I think that is now covering every request. Some construction requests remain, but it's largely okay. Yeah. Now with that, I have access to this. I can finally start dropping things off. MVT just made a delivery. We are saved, chat. Praise be. Let's drop those off. These. I don't need all of this concrete. That can all go. Some brick can go. Some of that can go. Very much don't need any of these, really. That said... You know what? No, I'll keep one stack. Oh my lord, this looks so much nicer now. Get rid of the pistols of shame. Be gone. There we go. I'm no longer shamed. Better, sure, but even in German, the books still miss some parts. They have inconsistencies and contradictions, even in 5th edition, especially when the later books get in the mix. 2 years later, and we still find things. We have to figure out how to rule them. That's an unfortunate one. Honestly, it would be great to get a new book that just explains how Matrix is supposed to work. Leafin, I'm going to say something now that as a Technomance player, you should already know. It's honestly a little embarrassing that I have to say this, and if your character were to like, if Pseudo were talking to your character right now, this would be like Tobey Maguire Spider-Man taking the younger Spider-Man under his wing. He's like, the Matrix works the way you want it to, Leafin. As a Technomancer, the Matrix is your playground. The reality of the Matrix is what you decide it is. Now go out there and do crime. You little scamp. Right, let's get as much of this place upgraded as we can now. Oh yeah, I could actually just do it and let the bots take care of it. My character being 14-year-old only makes this analogy better. Oh no, that's exactly why I went for it. That's exactly why I went for the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man analogy. It was perfect. It couldn't have lined up better if we'd tried. Glorious, glorious. Right, I'm going to set these up now as request chests. Oh, are they already request chests? They are already request chests. Marvelous. Personal logistics turned on. I don't have anything I want, but let's just get rid of these. Actually, let's add belts. So I want belts. You know what? Let's make. Is there an engineer icon? Is there actually an engineer icon? Because that would be amazing if I could make it look like me. I don't think there is. So I think I'm going to have to use one of the armors. I will only use the armor that I am up to. Also the one that looks most like an engineer. I would say the power armor. Well, I mean, that's not exactly engineer though, is it? Oh, the other one, I could use personal Roboport for it. That's a good one because it is literally personal logistics. Belts. Yep. I always want 200 of them. Never going to need more than 50, but I will allow 50 up to 100, so it's at most only taking up 2 stacks. I'm going to say I will allow 200 up to 4 stacks of belts at most. There we go. The first rule, never deal with a dragon. Yeah, that is fair. I mean, the never deal with a dragon rule has been around since forever, long before Shadowrun. I mean, look to Flight of Dragons by Peter Dickinson. The innkeeper learns very quickly. In fact, what's the line? My father always told me... Oh no, my father always told me never take credit from a dragon, which is basically never deal with a dragon. Makes sense. Alright, there we go. Now, construction bots will, as construction bots can, upgrade all of the belts. Wherever they're able to. It's going to take some time, but, you know, it's the thing. Oh, no. Makes sense. Have you lived in Wales? More common issue there. I mean, it's fair. That is fair. Right. I'm going to do a couple of things. First and foremost, Tank Chan II. Arise. Tank Chan II. A fuel. I would love to give you some gubbins, but I can't right now. Let's make a tank logistics. Yeah. Or rocket fuel for now. Nuclear fuel later, but right now rocket fuel. Actually, you know what? Let's just not have that be a single thing. Tank logistics is fine. I also want ammo, which for now will be piercing. I'm not up to uranium yet, and even if I were, it isn't where I'm at. Let's go with 300 to 500 rounds. I think that's good enough. Can I actually build anything in there? Oh, I can. I can make a couple of things. Let me grab a bunch of steel. Also grab a stack of these. I can't make the batteries, so I'm gonna need just personal gubbins. So Roboport, misc. I'll adjust this as I need it to. I would like batteries to be delivered. Batteries are not on the network. Am I even? Yeah, I'm definitely making them, so. But where? Down here. Okay, batteries are being shunted up here. I'll take this one step further. I will need to add a little bit of extra power. I find myself building in map mode a lot. I find it quite easy to do. Just 2 stacks of batteries should be enough. There we are. Oh, that's wrong. Let's grab those. Now then. I would like to make... How big is Tank Chan II's equipment area? Let's make... I kind of want 12 batteries if I'm not... sorry, personal batteries. Two full rows of batteries, because we're not going to have any, you know, particularly fancy way of taking care of this. Actually, let's keep that to 1 stack. It's 200 after all. It's a lot of batteries. Oh, that's probably why I wasn't pulling it. Ah, what a dummy I am. Gleba is being attacked. How are we doing over there? A lot of destruction, unfortunately. Once I have actual tank shells, it'll be a lot easier. But one of the things that I'm hoping the Tank Chan can do, and is one of the reasons why I built Tank Chan, has 70% acid resistance. 20%. I do not believe that I have much at all. But let's have a quick look. I'm currently in this kind of armor. Oh, I actually got 60% acid resistance. Never mind. But Tank Chan is a lot faster than me. And so even if slowed by the Stomper's effects, should still be okay, maybe. Alright. And 1, 2. Now, the reason why I'm setting this up is I intend to go out and get a couple of things done. I'll wait for the last one to be made. There we go. 1, 2, 3. We'll have another 12 there. Now, do I want to actually build anything else here? I need low density structure. Yeah, I can't build that yet, sadly. Yeah, nor can I build this. Big sets. For those, I'm going to need sulfuric. Oh, as it happens, yes, I do have sulfuric acid. Oh, I mean, I could then, I guess. It would have to be made down here. I haven't really left much room for me to maneuver these things, but it is something I could do. There's a very, very tight quarters here. But it is something I could do. If I move this tank around, I would need to hook up a pipe first so that I could transfer the tank's contents, though. Because that's a lot of waste if I don't. So I'd need to get rid of that factory. Am I understanding that correctly? If you've got a tank available, when you delete a tank, the liquids will be pushed onto the network. Could chat confirm that for me? Because I don't want to throw away an entire tank of sulfuric acid. I mean, the pentapods don't seem to care about pollution, but there are certain lines you shouldn't be crossing, even if you don't think there's going to be consequences. Yes, it'll push the rest onto the network if there's space. That's cool. Right, so gonna be doing away with you. Very briefly, this. Oh. Less briefly. You're right, though. I should just use shields. Nothing else fancy. And plunk. There we go. And I honestly should have done this a little bit differently. Tunk. There we go. This is the most jank. It should work. And I'm back to having exactly one of these. It hurts. Why am I being punished like this? Okay, that gets it going at least. And then I pop this back up here. There we go. Two tanks is enough. Right, that brings my sulfuric acid out here. So from this point, I should be able to start production of the blue circuits. I'll only have a tiny production of it, but it'll still be useful. But yeah, you are right, though. 3 of these would be better for me, for Tank Chan the second. Though maybe we're not up to Tank Sensei yet. Maybe we've got Tank Chan, and this can be Tank Kun. I think that works. Right. Okay, so my plan is first and foremost, whee! Stupid trees no longer impede my progress. Secondly, what I would like to do... Actually, let me... Oops. Sorry. Didn't mean to mess up all that bacteria. That's kind of a waste. Oh, yeah, I'm not getting through there. There. What I would like to do is create a little radar nest. Doesn't need to be much. Just a little bit of something, something. Little self-powered radar. Actually, we don't remotely need that kind of coverage. 2 of these will be more than sufficient. And that gives me a little bit extra. Now, here on Gleba, we do not produce much. I need 10 of these to cover the full requirements of the radar. So... I'm going to need a little bit more than I've currently got. Yeah, it doesn't quite reach out. Sadness. I guess it could just be these then. Well, that being said, I mean, this is enough. It'll build up a very slight charge. I'm just not at all sold that this is going to even get close to full. That being said, I mean, this is currently on its own network, so maybe. This is 5 megajoules. This would take 300 kilojoules. Oh, well, watts, you know. Again, chat. Now, this is not a judgment. I just consider this like a survey, because that's literally what it is. How many of you... This is like a survey of like... I guess I'm always a little bit surprised, because I feel like this is perhaps a failing of the education system. But how many people here understand the difference between, and not just know that there is a difference, but actually understand the difference between joules and watts? I'm not talking about, oh, occasionally I get them confused. Everyone makes this mistake every now and then if they're sleepy or something. But like, look, on a general level, actually understands what the two things mean. Because I've increasingly come across scenarios where people don't understand that difference, and I'm like, that isn't even on them. That's 100% on their on wherever they were educated. Spelling mostly. Through. I respect you. Okay, so joules is a measurement of energy. Watts is a measurement of energy over time. So joules and watts are a very simple conversion. Joules is what you're storing. Watts is what you're using. A kilowatt is 1,000 joules per second. But a battery doesn't store watts, because a battery simply has, I mean, well, technically, if you want to get into the really nitty-gritty, but, you know, then we're muddying the conversation. But you store joules, you use watts. Yeah, watts is power, joules is energy. I feel like that does, like, if you just say that to someone, though, that's not going to explain the difference. But again, there is no shade for anyone who doesn't understand that the distinction between these two. I am, once again, convincingly surprised by how poorly something that is that important to us as a society, and I feel that it's fair to say that as a society, that is a really important thing for us to understand in today's day and age, the difference between watts and joules. But a lot of people don't. And again, I really do need to stress that is not on them, in my opinion. That is on the education system. There we go. That'll store up a little bit more. Right, I want to make this a blueprint that I can stamp down. Tunk. This is now a solar-powered radar. Now, anywhere else, this isn't going to need to be... Well, actually, everywhere else will have a different thing, because the further away from the sun, the less viable solar is as a power source. So I will actually mark this as the Gleba version. A Gleba solar-powered radar. Yeah. Create blueprint. My big book of blueprints. Oh. Where's my big book of blueprints? Apparently I need a new one. Fine. That did not last long, because as you can see, across this entire network here, what is the total storage? It's only 20 megajoules. Bearing in mind, we use up a megajoule every 4 seconds. A megajoule and 1/5 every 4 seconds. So that 20 megajoules will not last us long. But it will give us a little bit of a it won't immediately stop as the sun is dipping. It'll probably last until night. Okay, now Aavak, OCD question for you. Does the slight extra space between the solar array tiles bother you any? I'd be lying if I said it didn't bother me, but it doesn't bother me much. Like, it would just be nice if the placement grid was 1/2 this size, so I could center align things. But I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. I know some people would. I'm not one of those people. There are other things that I lose sleep over. My pets. Myself. The world at large. How many spaces people use when they tabulate in their code. You know, important stuff. Oxford comma, yeah, no, that's another one. Yep. Like I said, important stuff. Right, I'm gonna pop out into the distant beyond, and we're gonna do some setup. This will also give the factory a little bit of time to sort things. I don't need to mess with you, so I'm not going to. Much like I don't mess with a wasp if I don't need to. If there is a single wasp and it's bothering me, I'll just move. If it's really bothering me, I'll move outside and try to bring it with me. If I can, I don't need to kill it. It's fine. 10 wasps are attacking me. Now I'm going to start swatting them. But I'll still try and leave some survivors. If a whole hive was bothering me, then okay. Now it's time to deal with the hive. Sadly. There we go. Right, radar setup. I'm going to go around and I'm going to drop some radars. Actually, should I maybe make a point of drop? Ooh, actually, yeah, I like that idea. We're going to... Yeah, there's a little bit over here. I'm going to go around the high grounds doing this because I don't believe, as far as I can tell, that the natives of Gleba go up onto the high grounds. Is that high or low? I'm thinking that's high because it looks so dry compared to everywhere else. Even this is somewhat low ground, but that feels like very much high ground. Alright, so I'm heading out just over here. I feel that the natives don't tend to migrate up here. They definitely don't have... I've not seen their egg rafts anywhere like these. So I think these are brilliant places for me to just drop little standalone radars. Just out of the way. Not going to cause any issue for anyone. But we'll start to explore more of the map for me. Especially if we are planning on making Gleba significantly more sustainable. I would very much like that. Really, really like that. If we can get radar coverage to show me where there are more potential farming sites, that would be huge. Oh, some pentapods down there, but that's fine. And if these go down, it's just a couple of solars, a radar, and a battery. It's not a big loss. There we go. Moving on. Is that a cliff? It's a cliff. It's actually really hard. I'm still not used to Gleba's topology. And I really do struggle noticing what is a cliff and what isn't on Gleba. It's like, is that a bit of foliage? Or is that actually a very sudden and severe drop? Is it both? Could be both. This is Gleba. If a wasp enters my room, I will just ask myself, why am I in the wasp's room? And leave. I am less passive. The wasp is in my space. I just don't mind sharing it if it isn't a dick, but sadly wasps are kind of well known for being dicks. You know what? Let's not do that. Let's go and get some more and then come back. I do feel quite bad for wasps though. Oh my lord, really? Again, hard to tell with Gleba sometimes, but I do feel quite bad. We've definitely got a hive, I think, under the house. But when it then gets... Oh, oops, sorry. Didn't mean to. Sorry. It was only, I was just giving it a love tap with my lasers. But, I really feel sorry for wasps in there. Oh god. 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 No. No. Leave me alone. Don't drag it next to my farms. Bollocks. Okay, I need to take it up to that one spot that is relatively heavily armed. No? Have you given up? I would really like it if you'd give up. You are going to follow me until you die. Alright then. Alright. I'll fight you. On the beaches, I'll fight you. Well, I guess this is pretty much the only place I'm going to fight you. You coming over here, buddy? Good. There we are. That wasn't so bad. Didn't really want that to happen, but yeah, I'm as I was saying, I feel for wasps. I feel bad for them because, no word of a lie, hundreds of wasps were just dead in my conservatory, and then they die in there every year. It gets cold enough that the hive basically ejects them. It's like the drones are just a resource, and when it gets cold, it's a resource that the colony can no longer sustain. So they're abandoned. And they just kind of wander aimlessly until eventually they die. They just end up lost and confused and slowing down and then, you know, eventually perish. Right, we're not going to make that mistake again. I think I can navigate through this. Got to watch out for the really deep water, but I think this is okay. I have to thread the needle a little bit, but... They die? Good. Cruel. There we are. Just in time for it to not be able to charge. Boop. Let's have a look. Yeah, those radars are lasting for a while. But see, that was fully charged before it became nighttime. My night vision turns on at nighttime. Oh, well, pretty heavy into nighttime, but yeah, these are lasting a lot longer than I was expecting. I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of impressed. Right, the next area will probably be down here, maybe there. Maybe having this many is unnecessary, though. Let's put a little bit more distance between them, otherwise I'm gonna run out of solar panels. No one wants to run out of solar panels. I was being a little bit aggressive with placing the radars. I don't mind it taking a little bit longer for them to find stuff. Having a little bit less overlap would be better for me. There we go. I mean, I completely understand if someone's allergic to wasps, having a like zero tolerance policy for wasps, that makes a lot more sense. I don't know, I just don't... Unless something is actually an existential threat, I don't react as if it's an existential threat. Am I far enough away? Let's go a little bit further. Could you use Control X to just delete your building without deleting trees and rocks? Oh, that's a good point, actually, yeah. Yeah, I could. But by that same token, I could just make a deconstruction planner that does not care about trees. That's a decent distance. There we go. Oh, I guess it is just bright enough right now for it to get enough energy. Cool. Let's swing down here, see if there's any land that I can place another radar down on. There we are. I'm not going to fuss too much about it if there isn't. I could just stick something up here. It's raised enough. Oh, there is a farm there, though. And there is a little landmass just down here. I say little, it's actually quite a large landmass. That'll do nicely. And some more stone deposit too. Now I want something over here. And then deeper up into the north, but this should give me a good bit of intel on the surrounding lands. And for the most part, they're completely passive. They're not getting any spores. They're not generating any armies. This area is... It feels raised, but it also... It's almost like a... more of a dry shrubland. Any stone up here? This appears to be what effectively is a mountain. You know what? I want to check if Roboports... If the personal Roboports quality level increases its construction area. It does not. That's a shame. That would have been amazing. We need the level 2 to have the nice big construction area. Up there now. Wait, do I have enough solar panels to make this work? Yes, I do. One more, and then we're heading home. Tank Cocoon is making this much easier for me. A single electric pole gone. Not going to worry too much about that one. Do I want to push a little bit more? Yes. Yes, I do. Not seeing very many egg sites around here at all. It's possible we could have something over here, though. But it feels otherwise fairly safe. And another 2, 3, I think, will have completed the... Ooh, okay. My bad. I was expecting the turn circle to be a little bit more aggressive there. It was not. Let's make some of those. Can't really afford to do that too many times. The solar panels are kind of hard to come by. Actually, they're not. I could easily set up a production over here. It's just there's not much reason to, because, well, I guess for this is the only reason. Yeah, there's like nothing out here. I am going to be very interested in... I mean, we saw plenty of nests out there, but I guess it can only happen where there's water. Up here, there just isn't water. Maybe I should be moving my farms there. I mean, the jelly nuts, at the very least, seem completely safe up here. This little area is very, very isolated. No, I looked on the Factoriopedia Death Crawler, and it doesn't look like quality increases building range. For that, you need the higher tier Roboport. May as well visiting here. Drop off some supplies. What we're doing right now is I'm just laying some foundation for future expansion. Do we have enough supplies here? Let's add some of those. Only need these as well. Yeah. We'll also set up a resupply train for these areas too. That'll come in very handy. There we are. Now I should get any solar panels, if there are any left. There might not be though. There, it doesn't look like there are. Alright. How's the factory doing though? They've upgraded a lot of the belts to blue, which is nice. Okay. So solar panels are actually really simple. I just need electronic circuits, steel. Oh, no, there we are. Oh, never mind. I could. Electronic circuits, steel, and copper. Electronic circuits here, steel here as well. Can't take this any further, sadly. Got electric circuits up here as well, though. And steel for that matter. And copper pretty close by. So I may as well set up a little bit of something here then. Actually, what are you bringing up? Is it gears? No, it's just the electric circuits. Okay. Right here. Need iron plate right now. Yes. Okay. We don't need to do that. I can easily collect the green circuits for it. Speed things along dramatically. That being said, I'm going to need to kind of just jank my way through this. Copper I can bring down from up there. So